UFC fighters get dropped for violating their contracts all the time, and not just through doping. Yup, this first guy's one of those non-doping related cuts from the UFC. We're talking about Jason High. You guys may not have heard of this guy, but he was fighting for the UFC back in 2014.
Ricci feeling a little confidence. Remember, he has that reach advantage by missing
Oh,
the shot.
big left. Real good shot right there. Now Mike Ricci's drilling the shots right there.
This is
unbelievable.
And he wasn't half bad. Yeah, it's safe to say we all expected some big things from the guy in the future. Unfortunately, everything came crashing down for the American martial artist in his fight with Rafael dos Anjos. Yeah, dos Anjos delivered some illegal shots to the back of High's head, and the guy was understandably pissed. Except he ended up making an unforgivable error in his anger. The guy went and shoved the referee. We all know that's a huge no-no. Every fighting contract everywhere requires the fighter to accept that the ref is off limits. High apologized and seemed genuinely remorseful, but the UFC head honcho didn't care. Yep, Jason was cut immediately and has been banned from the promotion ever since. That's right, guys. Just like that, this guy's dreams for his UFC career were over. Now, this may seem extreme to you, but there are a whole bunch of fighters like this. Fighters that didn't cheat or take steroids, but still got dropped because they did something and ended up breaching their contracts anyway. This next fighter knows all about that. That's right, it's Paul Semtex Daly's turn. If this guy's nickname tells you anything about him, you can probably guess that his explosive personality is what ended up getting him into trouble. Except Daly's case is much harder to sympathize with than Jason High's. Yeah, this man was a rising star for the UFC back in 2010, and he pretty much threw it all away. It was at the end of his bout with Koscheck that he made his fatal error in judgment. The guy had spent the entire match out wrestling the guy, and at the end he was understandably frustrated. But he decided to be a poor sport about it, and he walked up to his opponent after the fight was over. You can guess what happened next. That's right, Semtex let loose a horrible punch right at his opponent's face. And that was it, guys. Dana dropped this guy immediately and gave him a lifetime ban. He's been fighting with Bellator ever since, but talk about a wasted career, just because he couldn't control his anger. Alright, this next guy is another non-doping related ban. But unlike Daly and High, this guy didn't get dropped because of his anger issues. No, he got cut from the UFC because he was too much of a danger to the other fighters. The guy was a psychopath. Yup, it's Rosimar Palhares.
Gets the takedown. He rolls out the Kimura, but this is it.
He has to. He cannot let it slide anymore. Nice, he kept
Gets the arm, there's the tap. There's the tap. Mazzagati's trying to get him off.
I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of you didn't know about this guy, but he gained some more notoriety recently when Joe Rogan mentioned him on the JRE. Anyway, this man was a master Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner, and he specialized in heel hooks. Yeah, these things were so deadly, the UFC went out and recruited this guy. Unfortunately, though, he didn't become the star Dana was looking for. Instead, he made it clear to everyone that he was a psychopath. Yeah, the UFC contract requires fighters to accept the rules and follow them in the octagon. And one of the most important things is that when a guy taps, you let go immediately. But Palhares decided he wasn't a fan. No, he liked to mortally wound his opponents. And even after the tap, he kept cranking their legs. Yeah, this is genuinely insane because it can result in guys not ever being able to walk again. Now, Dana is pretty ruthless when it comes to his bottom line, and he couldn't exactly have Palhares going around breaking the legs of all of his fighters. So very unsurprisingly, this guy was removed and banned from the UFC. Now, even though these guys were all cut for other things, we all know that we can't talk about the fighters banned from the UFC and not talk about doping. Yeah, this next guy knows all about this extreme contract violation. The legendary Wanderlei Silva. Yeah, I think we all knew this was coming sooner or later.
Nice leg. Caught the leg that time. Wanderlei came in quickly. Wanderlei has never been a real technical striker. He kind of wings his punch. And those punches were unnecessary. He was out, but, Quentin was amped up.
Okay, so before we get into it, let me just say that ever since the USADA burst onto the scene, doping is the biggest contract violation that a fighter can do. I mean, other than straight up smacking Dana White. And it's so serious that even legends of the sport like Silva have been heavily reprimanded for being caught doing it. All right. Technically, he didn't get caught, but that was just because he just ran away from the test. Yeah, this man just wanted us to trust that he wasn't cheating. cheating, and he refused to get tested. It was pretty clear what was going on. That's right, guys. Refusing to get tested is such a huge violation that this man got banned for life, and that too by the state commission. But what happens if you get caught? Well, this next fighter had to find out the hard way. Ruslan Magomedov. Now, don't get the wrong idea, guys.
This would be a massive, massive win for Smolderov.
Oh, now turning that corner, looking to drag it down to the mat. Oh, still working so hard. What a fight.
Doping is a serious violation of the contract, but fighters still get to come back after being banned for a few years. They do get a chance to clean up their act, but for Ruslan, well, he just couldn't bring himself to stop taking the juice. This guy was a heavyweight, and he was first popped for PEDs in 2016 when he was given a 2-year ban. But as I said, fighters get multiple chances, and he was allowed to return in 2018. Unfortunately, the guy didn't learn anything at his time off, and in October 2018, he got caught again. Still, the UFC didn't immediately ban him, but this guy didn't give Dana a choice when, in February of the next year, he decided to pull a page out of Wonderly's book. That's right, he refused to submit a sample for testing. You can guess what happened next. The guy got cut from the promotion and banned for life. But you know, guys, PEDs aren't the only banned substances fighters get dropped for. These next two guys are painfully aware of that. First, Matt Riddle. Yeah, this guy's career came to an end when he tested positive for the devil's lettuce.
Fighting out of the blue corner, this man is a mixed martial artist holding professional records.
To Riddle. That's it. I think that's it. He's just covering.
Matthew Deepwaters Riddle.
I mean, technically, that stuff does nothing to enhance your performance, so it's not a disgusting case of cheating where everyone wants the fighter banned. But it's still hard to sympathize with this because it's honestly just kind of like you couldn't keep from smoking for just a few weeks? There's nothing much to it, guys. This man got banned and was never asked back into the UFC octagon, and according to Dana, it was because he was a But he wasn't the only one, as I already said. This is just one of the two guys that went out for something so The other guy is Nate Diaz. This story is pretty much the same as Riddle's.
He's Conor trying to get out of it. Conor's in serious trouble. 1 minute on the clock.
Nate Diaz, you just shook up the world.
He caught him again with a right hook. And another left.
And then I put a knee in his stomach and I heard him go, huh, and I'm like, yeah, this is good, this is good. And then all of a sudden,
Diaz couldn't keep from smoking, and USADA caught the illegal substance in his system. It's hard to hate on Nate because we all know how much of a warrior the guy is. But I don't know. No matter how you look at it, this was the way to break the contract. Imagine getting a lifetime ban, and you didn't even cheat. All the guy had to do was stay away from smoking for just a few weeks. Those were some of the most insane ways fighters broke their contracts and got lifetime bans from the UFC. We'll see you in the next one.